the beIN official World Cup song. Have a little listen. Welcome to the locker room. We are just 3 days away from the World Cup kicking off. This will be the last locker room for a while, but worry not. We have a nightly show, Russia 2018, coming up here on beIN Sports with all your favourite faces, including Phil Shane and Thomas Rungan and his bow ties, Ray Hudson and Matteo Bonetti as well, with a nice tartan tie today. OK, Group E. We're continuing to break down the groups today. I know that on Friday's show, without me, most of you behaved as you broke down the groups in the first part of the World Cup. Today we go from E to H, and we'll start with E. Brazil, Switzerland, Costa Rica and Serbia. So is it as black and white, or should I say yellow, green and blue, as it seems? Are Brazil the team to beat, Phil Shane? Well, from what we have seen on our airwaves, it's hard to pick anyone better. Every other team seems to have shown some blemishes, some concerns, some rust, just trying to find where to put the pieces. Tite seems to know that a year ago, and now it's just trying to make sure that the ship is picking up steam as it heads out of port. What we saw, especially now with Neymar coming back over the last two games and playing some extended minutes, is a team that already was a World Cup favorite, getting stronger as the tournament approaches. Would you back that, Matteo?
The only asterisk on this team now has to do with Dani Alves' injury. You have Danilo coming in, who hasn't played consistently for Manchester City. But other than that, watching this team in the Commonwealth World Cup qualifier, they were absolutely unstoppable. And it isn't just Neymar. They have players like Douglas Costa, who I think was the best player in Serie A in 2018. He's hardly going to get minutes. It shows you how deep they are in key positions. In the last friendly, we saw Tite going with a more defensive midfield three. He has so much versatility. He can play Coutinho in a midfield three, which is what he did depending on the situation. There's so many looks that Brazil can give you, but they're a solid, good defensive side as well. Is Neymar crucial to their success, Thomas?
Of course. I mean, but not as crucial as Messi is to Argentina, Lewandowski is to Poland. They're not Neymar dependent, and that's Tite's strengths as well. He studied in Europe, very interesting. He had a stayed with Dunga for the longest time, and how many Brazilian coaches have really done well in Europe? Not too many, but this guy, there's steel now, there's skill, and there's a revenge factor, and Neymar obviously is huge for this team, but it's more the collective. They are great defensively as well. I'm not so sure yet. All right, it's Germany's to lose, in my opinion, just like it was Real Madrid in the Champions League to lose as well. And they showed not a great form in La Liga at times. Brazil has all the weapons, can go far, favorable draw, semis at least, and then you never know. But they're thrilling everyone right now. This situation with everybody's talked about the talent, and it's obvious. It's an Aladdin's cave of talent. The strength in depth. The coach has got them firing. They were unstoppable, indomitable in the qualification process. But there's another aspect, and it's desire and determination. This was a country that loves their football, arguably, but I think I'd win the argument, more than any other country in the world, in the humiliation that they suffered in that 7-1 hammering from Germany will be on their minds every step of the way. And I think that is going to be the driving force as much as their brilliant talent. And they're certainly the top dogs in the group, no question. And also on that note, they're always going to have pressure, right? Because Brazil go into every tournament as one of the favorites, but the pressure that they had when they played in Brazil after almost half a century, that's going to be removed as well. All of a sudden now people are talking about Germany. Can they do a repeat? People are talking about Spain. It's not a case of Brazil are at home, they have to win it, and it's not going to be that gargantuan pressure that we saw from them in 2014.
Guys, Brazil has had to deal with World Cup failure in the past. I mean, there's still the ghosts of 1950 that are looming in the background. But not like that Swan film. Well, no, but I think what happened here, and this is even to the point of David Luiz, and you could say, okay, he's not your best defender. He's not your second. He's not your third. But the fact he doesn't even get called up, and they call up Jeromel. Symbolic. I think it was. I think it was Tite, one of those situations when things get tough, he doesn't want his team looking next to David Luiz and think, is it happening again? And I don't think it's anything against David Luiz as a player, and I think we saw against Colombia what a good person he actually is. But he characterizes that defeat more than any other player that was on that team. And it still hurts the nation. It still hurts every player. Like, we cannot
imagine, and they will be back with a vengeance this time.
There are still flaws, though. If you look at Kimmich, if you look at Kimmich of Bayern Munich, the 2 goals he scored, by the way, when Marcelo went forward, that's where Germany, in a 7-1 trashing 4 years ago, exposed him as well. Behind Marcelo, and it might be Danilo right now, coming from deep position. So there is some weaknesses, but it's a very talented team.
But with that midfield 3 that we saw, Paulinho, Fernandinho, Casemiro, that's a lot of cover for the defense, especially if the fullbacks go forward.
Yeah, and that's the big question right now, as Kay said yesterday, the first time that William, Neymar, Gabriel Jesus, exactly, because normally it's Renato Augusto, and Renato Augusto is injured right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. They've got a better team without Augusto.
Let's say that Brazil are a given to win the group. Who else gets out with them?
Serbia is going to be one of the big surprises. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, we keep hearing his name, and if you haven't followed Serie A, this is the best pound-for-pound midfielder in the world. This is the best box-to-box midfielder in the world. He's going to go for over 100 million after the World Cup. He's an absolute world-class player. Him, Dusan Tadic. This Serbia side, they have a good defense, solid veteran, not the quickest, but this is a side that I think is going to challenge for that second spot, and I think can make some noise after the group stage. I wouldn't want to face them.
I think Switzerland as well come in as a team with a real punch. Quarter-finals will be a realistic target, I think. They're neat, tidy, organised, 4-5-1 type of great work ethic amongst the Swiss, and nothing complicated. Have they got the goals in them?
That's the problem.
What about Keylor Navas in Costa Rica?
Everyone keeps talking about this is the same Costa Rica that won the group last time.
CONCACAF.
Yes, and they're 4 years older.
Yes.
I think Keylor Navas is going to be called to rescue them, but I don't see the goals coming this time around. And I agree with Ray. I think Switzerland, in some ways, it's almost like a mini Belgium, a less exciting Belgium, kind of like Switzerland. But when you take a look at the talent that they've had, this is their golden generation, their last chance to really lay claim. Someone like a Xherdan Shaqiri, I'd be really interested to see how he ends up this tournament. Yeah. They're my edge towards
Steiner. You got Rodriguez on the outside as well, but I pick Costa Rica second.
All right, Group F. Germany, Mexico, Sweden and South Korea. That's the defending champions, Germany. Big favourites for many. Is this side as strong as 2014's winning team?
No, I don't think they are. I think, they couldn't capture the Euros. A couple of years ago, everybody thought that after the World Cup, where they were so impressive, boring for me, but impressive the way Germany are. But there's evidence there that this team isn't quite as good, but I wouldn't bet against them.
There's a great investigative reporter for Bild that went inside the German camp, and the biggest difference is leadership. There's 3 players on that 2014 side that everyone says were instrumental behind the scenes when things got tough. Philipp Lahm, Mertesacker, and Schweinsteiger. Without those 3, the leadership, it's a younger team, it's a different team. That may be the case,
but this Germany team has still got an elegance about them. They still have a style about them that is very, very impressive. They are joint favourites for good reason. And they can beat anybody, Thomas.
They're definitely going to avoid the fate of Spain and Italy when they didn't get out of the group stages. I'm not saying, although, I did say that Germany would win it this year, or at least somebody's going to beat them. And with Goretzka, listen, the guy that scored the goal in 2014 didn't make the roster. Yeah. Leroy Sané didn't make the roster.
Right.
They're the deepest team, in my opinion, quality-wise, in the tournament. And you got Hummels, you got Boateng, you got Müller, you got Neuer. You still have experience
There's
and
all
leadership.
Them players, but
still the team
they still have to be managed as well. And this man manages immaculately. He's smooth with them. There's no disturbance in them. They won the Confederation Cups. The Confederation Cup. Easily. They won it moonwalking, Phil.
Right. The one concern I would have, I'm going to put an asterisk next to what you said in the fact that they're not better. Because I think the potential is there to be much better. Because the negative that you were talking about in 2014, just that German efficiency, don't make mistakes, get it done. Now you look at the Werners, the Goretzkas and stuff. There are people who can actually play games right next to Brazil.
That might screw them up.
So listen, we've got to move on to talk about Mexico before we do go to break. So before I even talk about the 5th game for Mexico, do they get out of the group?
No.
No.
Mexico. I think Sweden's going to get out of the group. Sweden. Well, we don't. What mental state is Mexico even in? That's what I want to know. Given everything that I'm just curious about that. Sweden as well, defensive solidity. Mexico don't have a true number 6. They're relying on Javier Hernandez. I think Irving Lozano is their most dangerous player. But again, against teams that'll sit back as much as Sweden, who's going to run at them? Where are they going to find the
And
space?
also,
I think Sweden is the team. That's the one that's going to surprise
surprise
everyone.
Mexico's going to need a result against Sweden, in my mind, when they go head-to-head. And Sweden, if they can just sit back, maybe coast into match 3 in advance.
But
I was picking Mexico earlier, but the more I analyze this, I agree with you. I think Sweden's going to be the team.
Last 5 games, 1 goal for Sweden. I just don't know where the goals are coming from. And they've done it. 0-0 against Italy, only 1 against Italy in Italy. That's enough for Sweden. But you know what? I think if Mexico has the potential, they showed it in the Confederations Cup at times.
But they're not scoring. They're not scoring.
That's true, but they have more potential attacking power than Sweden has. And defensively, I think they're pretty good too. Ochoa's still a decent goalkeeper.
I'll go with Thomas.
They got some.
I think there's more creativity in Mexico than there is.
When Sweden play Mexico, who's the most brilliant playmaker on the field, Ray? Someone that we let, Emil Forsberg. Absolutely. That's going to be the one who decides things for Sweden.
3 hours of live coverage on the eve of the World Cup kicks off on Wednesday morning from 6 a.m. Eastern to 9 a.m. We'll have live updates on the decision and reaction of the 2026 bids. We'll also be looking at the World Cup favourites and some potential surprise packages as well. All of us will be involved in that, so make sure you join us. Stick around, though, here on The Locker Room. When we come back, we will be discussing Group G, Belgium, Panama, Tunisia and England. Welcome back to The Locker Room. Belgium, Panama, Tunisia and England in our next group. So let's begin with Belgium, because we can no longer refer to this side as dark horses. But can they fulfil their potential?
Well, they're not dark horses because they have world-class talent almost at every single position. Their defense is as good as it's ever been. They can score goals. They're quick. They're creative. They're going to get out of the group, and they should be considered one of the top 6 favorites, I'd say, to win the World Cup. So if you're saying they're still a dark horse, that is a lazy answer.
No, I'm saying no one can refer to them anymore.
No, not you. I'm saying to the people out there, no, absolutely not. They're the favorites. I think they're one of the favorites to go all the way.
They may not be, your typical dark horse, Mario, because of the amount of expectations, but have they lived up to that expectation?
How many teams do?
I don't think so. Well, that's got nothing to do with what we're talking. We're talking about Belgium.
No, what about Italy then? Are Italy dark horses now?
No, Italy's never, not dark. Donkeys, them.
Okay, they haven't, Ray. Can they live up to that expectation?
But I think in this tournament, they could get the breaks. I think they have been overhyped, Thomas. I think that they've been a bit of a paper tiger, and they haven't fulfilled all the potential. They know this is, I wouldn't say last-ditch saloon, but, man, for this generation,
there's 2 teams out there that everybody goes that get so much talent. Well, it's
they're like the old Spain used to be. Remember when Spain used to be everybody's favorite?
When are they going to put it together? They didn't put it together in 2014 against the U.S., let's be real honest, when Belgium went out. Yes, they have. I'm not so sure if Martinez is the right coach for this group.
I agree.
Where's Nainggolan? Their best midfielder's not even on the damn squad.
I know. So agree with me.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm getting energetic about it. I'm pumped up about it.
The amount of options that this Belgium team has at Martinez's, the coach's disposal, is manifest. In a lot of companies, defensively, we know they're hurting. But everywhere else, and that central position, they'll tidy that up. But it's going to be crucial for this man to get his right, or he will be flamethrowered.
Besides Portugal, Spain, is England, Belgium. Because you know what? In that game, we're going to say Belgium, you're still overhyped, or you're going to say England, all that stuff you bring every time.
It might not matter. Let's see when it gets to it.
It'll matter because whoever finishes first is going to be the big deal.
And England.
Right, who's got it?
Exactly.
How far should England be expecting to go?
Come on,
Phil. In my mind, quarterfinals at best. I think with Belgium, you're taking a look at a team that could be in a semi-finalist again. Although the Nainggolan one is interesting because they are loaded with midfielders, but he does things that are different. All the other midfielders are kind of the same, except the destroyer, Fellaini. But you take a look at what they're missing at that particular point, and that could come back to haunt them when one goal can make a difference.
In Brazil, they were terrible, Mario. They didn't even qualify. Exactly. and that is lingering. This is a new set of fresh talent, and they've got some real exciting players. How much of it's going to go through?
Right,
I'm not so sure.
one question mark I have about England, Gareth Southgate just went to a back three, hasn't been tested at the highest levels.
Right.
These are players
Good
that,
point.
except the Manchester City players, they don't know what it's like to
But
play in
you
that.
know what?
Kyle Walker's supposed to be one of the three center backs.
I kind of like it. I kind of like it because I think the players are responding to it.
Yeah.
Going, this is new. We're not the old traditional 4-4-2 anymore. We're going to play. We're young. You've been with us as a manager at the under 21 level.
That a little bit in
and I can see some
2002.
confidence
And it gets the
with
best out of
England.
key players like
Quick
Young
question,
on the
which I
left
don't
wing
know.
back.
You know, and Kay probably. Number 2 plays whom? Number 1 at what group? Because Ray's right. Whoever loses and comes in second.
Well, it'll be Colombia or Poland would probably be the favorites. And that's the point also, because I kind of have a feeling that could be where England maybe doesn't like the matchup.
Both
Right.
Belgium and England qualified very impressively, let's not forget. So both of them come in with that sort of momentum going. No expectations on England this time. Know that they're not that good.
Correct.
These young guns have got something to prove, and they may spring a few
I agree,
surprises.
Brock. I
Tunisia
agree.
and Panama are also there. Just quickly before we move on, let's talk about Panama.
Did you see Ramon Torres
Panama.
with the press conference?
do it, Tom.
He
Don't
lifted
do it,
up his-
Tom.
Don't
do it, Tom.
No.
Yeah, well, maybe it
He's
looks
the
the
heaviest
same.
guy. No, he showed a six-pack.
Yeah,
this
maybe
guy.
it looks the same underneath there, Thomas Rogan. It doesn't? Okay.
Tunisia was a top 15 team just a year ago
They've
with
not
some
won a
key
World
injuries.
Cup game in 40 years.
Very different play styles, though. Tunisia have actually really good creative players. Wabi Khazri, and what I love watching, by the way, is Naim Sliti. That is a name that you're going to hear a lot more
It's great
of.
for CONCACAF.
He's brilliant.
And Panama. Just
Tommy,
look forward and continue to put
you
money
saw
back
those
in.
CONCACAF games. Panama
I know.
They're effective,
Right.
but
Correct.
dreadful to watch.
This thing was
Physical, strong.
Group H, it's an interesting one to me. Poland, Senegal, Colombia and Japan. One of the more interesting ones in that it's pretty
time.
tough for many to predict how it's going to turn out, how it will shape off after 3 games. So I'm asking you guys to pick a team that you think will stand out and make it out of this group. Thomas, who have you gone for?
I'm going with the sleeper, Japan.
Okay.
And the reason being is that group might have more goals than any other group. You got Lewandowski, you got Mane, you got James, you got Falcao, you got Kagawa as well. On my team, the sleeper team, by the way, with a new coach, new TD. What's his name? Give it to me. Give it to me. Just spell it out to you. Akiro Nishino, the former TD.
All right, Matteo.
Not ruthless enough for me, the Japanese.
Harikiri.
No, but in front of goal, I mean.
Okay. Wow. Poland. I'm going to go with Poland. I think this is a team that has talent across the board. The defense, the goalkeeper, Szczesny, one of the best goalkeepers in Serie A, who's not starting, and he will be starting very soon. Milik is finally back and healthy for
That's an
Napoli, and he
interesting one,
looked
you're right.
like a near world-class striker. Can score in any single way.
X-factor.
Him and Lewandowski. And in the midfield, they're brilliant. They're quick. They're technical. I love
Are you
this
going
Poland
for
team.
that, Phil?
Lewandowski scares me a little bit because I'm still remembering the way he closed the club season. I'm afraid from a Poland perspective that's going to be what he sees in the World Cup, which is why I'm going a little bit more traditional. This is the last gasp of this golden generation for Colombia with James, Falcao coming back. There's so much young talent in the attack.
Yep.
Defense, some new
Question
faces
mark.
that if they can shield, if they can step up like a Yeremina. The concern I have is Ospina, because when he puts on that jersey for the national team, he is Superman.
Let me
What we've
introduce his
se-
name, Superman. Go ahead.
But what we have seen recently, though, is Superman with kryptonite. And I'm not quite sure if he's got the confidence that you're going to need in a tournament like this.
Maya
Right.
Yoshida,
Yeah.
the center back
We've
of
gotta
Japan
move.
that plays for Dortmund, he's the kryptonite. And the defense is going to win this
Right.
group. Japan
Poland
second.
Poland for me as well. I agree with Mario. Lewandowski, I think, will be the inspiration. Last 8 in the Euros, it was a very good performance. I'll go with Poland.
I'm going for Senegal, guys. Somebody has to.
Koulibaly, best defender in
Koulibaly,
Europe.
great defender. Sadio
This is-
Mane.
It could be, right.
Sadio
this
Mane.
is what I call the group of life.
Exactly.
Yeah, great
It could
point.
be every one of those teams could finish either first or fourth.
Yep, they
Yes,
know
sir.
how to win ugly. In 2002, they got to the quarters. They beat France.
They were fun
I'm
to
going
watch
for
in CAF
Senegal.
qualifying.
Good for
Yeah,
you,
you
Kay.
cannot go against
But
them.
I have a Honda in my team.
Okay, you're right. Whatever. Anyway, we've got a special extra coming up on Wednesday as well, focusing on the decision for 2026. We'll have Team Talk 2 for Russia 2018, which will kick off the next day. Our top 5 goals of the week when we return. Surely Neymar's is in there, right? Still had plenty of football on the network here on beIN Sports this week. International friendlies, youth tournaments, you name it, we've had it. Here are our top goals as picked by the panel. And we'll start with you, Thomas. What a goal this was from Neymar.
Oh, my God. Anytime a defender goes to the floor like that, you know it. He's healthy, he's hungry, he's got skill. And he's got some steel as well. Look at this. Just let it breathe. Copacabana, baby. Bikini's floating by. Neymar, no chance.
I think Boateng's groin muscle popped there, too. Boop. Going back to last time.
Matteo, Miko Albornoz.
Yeah, it's a real shame that we're not going to get Chile in the World Cup. But look at this second effort. He struck it first time, hardly got a hit on it, and then he just rifles through it on the half volley. That is absolutely brilliant. Top corner. Ray, give me a nice little description of that.
That's absolutely magisterial.
There we go.
Phil Shane, the youth is looking good for Mexico.
Well, this would be semi-magisterial because it was the semi-finals. Take a look here.
Nice.
Eduardo Aguirre, scoring revolution and relevation for Mexico. This was the semis against Turkey. They needed it. He led the tournament in scoring. And I have a feeling it's not the last we will hear from him.
Lovely touches setting up the kid as well. All soft touches, all considerate passing as well, Phil. Nice pick. For me, this one is the best one. Robert Lewandowski. You give this lad that much space, it's like giving Dracula a plate of liver.
You love a good blast.
Lovely. But look at the backing off of him. So Robert says, thank you very much and good night, Vienna.
He does say good night, Vienna.
Blasts?
We are going to the Segunda now, to a team that made the final and may just be playing in La Liga next season. This is Pablo Herbias for Valladolid. Look at this. Free kick. Gorgeous stuff. And they have a spot in the final against Numancia to decide who'll be playing in the top flight and get the chance to face Real Madrid, Barcelona and Atleti next season. All of these guys will be with us this week because we start our World Cup coverage. We also have a 3-hour show coming up early on Wednesday morning. Make sure you're up bright and early for this one. You can have it with your breakfast, this show, as we'll be bringing you all the latest on the bid decision. And I know that there's some on this table definitely hoping that the United 2026 bid will be successful. So make sure you join us then, and then World Cup coverage every night during the World Cup right here on beIN Sports. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you next time.